Rob, over the weekend on Saturday, LeBron James goes down with a high ankle sprain in a game against the Atlanta Hawks.
I didn't see
And
anything dirty there. Did you?
nah, and we talked about that on Undisputed today. I'm totally with you. Like,
I didn't see
look,
anything dirty.
it was a loose ball, and I heard Montrezl Harrell say that
Right.
Solomon Hill, who's the one that injured LeBron, didn't make a basketball play. Here's the thing. On a loose ball, what's a basketball play on a loose ball?
You're just
Guys
trying to get
dive,
the ball.
Right. They dive, they reach, they jump for loose balls, whatever it takes to get it. I mean, within reason. And that's what he was doing. He dove for a loose ball, and his momentum carried him into LeBron's ankle as LeBron's momentum carried him into Solomon. And that was it, Solomon Hill. Here's the thing, Rob. If LeBron was dribbling up the court or even on the wing in a triple threat position or whatever, just had control of the ball, and a guy dives at him, that's one thing.
Right.
But this wasn't that. So I just and look, the fact that it was only a Lakers teammate or teammates and Lakers fans that saw it as dirty, Rob, that tells you everything. LeBron
didn't
say
see
it was
anybody
dirty.
else say that.
Nope. Nobody around the league said it. So Solomon Hill should not be castigated or anything for this.
And he said, like, I respect the game. I was just trying to make, get the ball, basically. And it happened.
And that's what it looked like. It happens, right? But here's my take. And we don't know how long he's going to be out. Some people are saying if he recovers quickly, he could be back in 3 to 4 weeks. If he, but it could be 6 weeks. Obviously he's older, 36 years old now. And the older you get, the longer it takes you to recover. And you wonder if that'll play a factor. But here's what I'm going to say, Rob. I believe they're going to fall mightily in the standings. If he's out 4 weeks.
He's out a month?
The 15 games they play in that period, 10 of them are against playoff teams.
So right there, you got a 5-10 record.
Right. And that's not even including their next game, which is against New Orleans, who's not a playoff team right now, but playing well. They beat Denver. They beat the Clippers just within the past week. So that's not a gimme. So I expect them to fall. Rob, they're 2.5 games ahead of 6th-seeded Portland. So they're the 3rd seed, the Lakers, but they could fall to 6 or below. And Rob, anything below 6, you're in the play-in game. So There you go with your March Madness almost. The way it works is the 7th and 8th seeds play the 9th and 10th seeds, and they get the 7th seed will get 2 chances to beat the 10th seed. And, which you should be able to do, but, if you don't, you're out. But I expect them to fall, Rob, and maybe even the 7. But I still believe and this is a big if. I don't know if it's a big if, but we expect them, right? We expect Anthony Davis to come back healthy, and we expect LeBron James to come back healthy. If they do, Rob, let's say it's 6 weeks, LeBron's back a couple of weeks before the playoffs begin. Anthony Davis is back in 2 or 3 weeks from today, and he's got time to work himself into shape. I still, Rob Parker, believe the Lakers are the team to beat in the West. Still.
I could not disagree with you more. I think that the Lakers, any thought or idea that they were going to repeat just went out the window. It's bad enough not having Anthony Davis, but now LeBron for potentially a month. You're going to be trying, and even when he gets back, you don't know where he is at 36 years old, Chris. Totally different animal. I know LeBron has had a history of being able to come back quicker than normal, but as you get older, those things don't happen. Anthony Davis has been out a lot, and this team, even with those 2 guys, aren't as good of the same team as when they had Rondo and Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. I don't think that this team is better than that team. And obviously, that team won a championship. So, of course, Chris, you know what I mean on paper. But I don't think that this team is better. And now you're asking for 2 guys to come back and your 2 stars and for them to be okay after not playing for a while together. It's just too many things have to go right for them to compete and for them to play. And then the West is tough. The West is tough.
So
it's
you're
not a
saying
cakewalk.
because you started by saying you don't think they'll repeat. And look, I do think Brooklyn's better.
I think their
but
championship
I think the Lakers will get out of the West.
I think their championship aspirations are done. They will not get out of the West. They will not compete for a championship.
Wow. Rob Parker. Wow. I mean, here's the thing. Look, let's say worst case scenario, they're a 7 seed. And I think while they may be 7 when LeBron gets back, I think he'll lift them a few spots. So they may finish up as a 6 seed. Let's say they're the 6 seed. And you start off the first round with, I don't know, Phoenix. Okay, that's a tough one, but, they can beat Phoenix. And then you got the 3-6 matchup, so you're in the 2-3. So maybe you got the Clippers in the second round. You're going to have to beat these teams anyway.
No, I get that.
Like the West, you know that. The West, like the first seed, Utah. Let's say they finish first. They could get Dallas, Golden State, San Antonio.
The Clippers had Dallas in their first round last year, right? I mean, Dallas was no pushover. Then they had Denver that had gone that was one game away from the conference finals the year before, right? Denver, remember they lost in the game 7 at home to Portland, and that they didn't get to the conference finals, Chris. So they had two tough opponents.
The West is tough, yeah. So my point is, yes, they'd love to finish in the top 3 or 4, but even if you finish with one of those seeds, the road to the NBA Finals in the West is going to be tough. But, Rob, so here's my thing. Picture, and you are absolutely right. If LeBron James doesn't come back close to himself, they got no chance. I'll be the first to admit that. And if Anthony Davis isn't himself, if that, we hate to hear the word Achilles. So if this Achilles injury is more serious than they're letting on, and he's been out for a month, so it's already fairly serious. But if it's really debilitating, then I don't think a LeBron and a half-speed AD can win the West. But I'm operating on the assumption that they will be back, close to full health. And are you going to tell me you're going to take, I'll just throw out, a Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray over LeBron and AD?
Yep. Because I just don't know where they're going to be. I just think too many things have to be right for them to win. And if there's any setback or somebody gets gimpy, they won't win. And I just don't like the team. I don't like the makeup of the team that they had, even with those guys. I think that they made a mistake, and I get it. You don't always want to stand pat, Chris. You want to make some moves, right, and spice it up for a different group of guys. So I get that. I just think it's going to be a real tough, and there's just too many things that have to go right for them to win. And I think whenever we're banking on more than one or two things having to be right. It was one thing waiting for Anthony Davis to come back. Now you're waiting for Anthony Davis and LeBron, and we don't know what the situation will be with LeBron being off that long at 36 years old. We don't know if Anthony Davis, will he be gimpy? Will he be a little leery because of what we saw with Durant? You know what I mean? These are all factors that could factor in. So I'm here today, and I don't believe they make it out of the Western Conference. I don't believe they have a chance to repeat for their championship. I think this year will wind up being a wash, and people will look back at it and go, you know what? Anthony Davis and LeBron got hurt that year, and that's the reason that they weren't able to compete or get out of the West. That'll be their built-in excuse on why things went awry.
Well, if that's the case, it'll be a legitimate explanation, because obviously they would have had a chance to win the West with those two healthy. But again, I still like them in the West. I still think they're the team to beat. And do they miss JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard at the rim? Yeah. But guess what? They got the number one defense in the league. And that's with Anthony Davis missing a month of games. And Rob, one thing about the Lakers, they play defense.
It was just a week ago the Knicks had the number one defense. So I mean, and they were 500.
But that's fine. I mean, you can go back. The Knicks play great defense.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
But they were LeBron James and an Anthony Davis.
Right, but they were 500. That was just a week ago. I'm just saying I'm just talking about the eye test as far as the team. I don't think that this team is as good as last year.
When I look at them, the eye test, their defense is noticeable. Like, it's noticeable how good they are defensively. They get after it. Schroeder, at this point, is a better defender than Rondo was. Now, I get playoff Rondo was big last year, and we'll see if Schroeder can replicate what Rondo gives him. But Schroeder's a better player at this point in his career than Rondo was last year. Now, they do, I think, more than the rim protection, because, we talk about this all the time, Rob. Who's really... dudes ain't killing you at the rim anymore like they used to, for the most part. And what I think they miss more is they don't shoot the ball very well. Now, perhaps they're slumping. We saw them in the bubble last year when they first got there in the regular season, the 8 regular season games. They couldn't hit threes and they couldn't stop threes. And then the playoffs start and they turn it up a notch. So maybe that'll happen now, but they don't shoot the 3 ball very well. That, to me, is their biggest problem, and they should be out there on the market looking to add some shooting. But I think, and here's my other thing, Rob, nobody in the West, as good as it is, and we know it's deep and all that, who's scary? The Clippers aren't scary. The Clippers have gone 11-11 over the last 2 months. The Clippers are 6-8 over the last month, and they're 3-5 over the last 2-3 weeks. They have trouble in the clutch. Kawhi and their numbers are bad in the clutch because they really need a point guard to get them into a good offense rather than just going one-on-one late in games. And then, surprisingly, their defense isn't even that good. It's mediocre.
So they're 11-11, but they got one less win than the Lakers, or does they have the same amount of wins?
Yeah, that's what the standings say. But they're 11-11 over the last 2 months, so they got out into a hot start, 16-5, but since then they've been struggling. And Utah, I don't think scares anybody. They would be doing something that, we rarely see, winning without a superstar. It's happened. The Detroit team in 2004, it's happened, but I don't see this Utah team doing that. Denver is not having a great year. They're the 5th seed. They're not playing like we expected, even though they're picking it up a little bit. Dallas, Golden State, Portland, who's Phoenix? That's the thing, right? The West is really good all the way around, but nobody's like a world beater. The team that's a world beater is Brooklyn.
No,
that's the team that's the world beater. I said today, I think Brooklyn will beat the Lakers. But I don't see a Western team. Now, I see Western teams capable of beating them, yes. But somebody that the Lakers can't beat, no, I don't see that. All right, 877-99 on Fox. All right, 877-99 on Fox. Are the Lakers toast? Rob Parker thinks so. What say you?
Put some butter on them. Some butter, B-U-T-T-A, as we say in New York. Put some butter on them. Bob in Naples, Florida. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Bob?
Hey, good evening, fellas. Thanks for taking my call. A simple question, and I'm going to walk the fence on this one. Complex
no
answer.
Walking the fence. No, Bob, no walking the fence. Come on now. Just pick a side. What do you think?
All right. If you're holding a metaphorical gun to my head,
yes,
I've got to go with my boy Rob on this one. Because
yes!
Wow.
Chris, I love you, but Rob, I don't know if you're a pessimist or if you're a little cynical, but you see the landscape through different lenses. Chris, I'm not saying you don't possess those lenses, but Rob talks through those lenses. I love it. Rob, you're the straw that stirs. You're my boy. Chris, you're great, but Rob is my boy. Have a good night, fellas.
My man, Bob in Naples, Florida.
I'll give you. Well, look. Before y'all give Rob all this credit. Oh, he's going out on a limb. Rob didn't think they were winning the West anyway. If LeBron was healthy as a 25-year-old, Rob still was saying Clippers in the West.
Let me tell you something. I have the tape. I'm going to bring it in. When I was a sportscaster on WXYZ in Detroit, and LeBron and the Cavs were down 3-1, I'll get the clip for you, Chris. I predicted them to come back and win that series and win the championship. So I have not always said LeBron wasn't going to win. I picked them, and I knew the Warriors would choke in that series. All right, BJ in San Diego, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, BJ?
What's up, Big Rob? How you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you, bud?
Man, everything is well, man. But yeah, I just want to weigh on this topic. I don't think the Lakers are making it out the West. I got to go with you. I just think the Clippers have their number, and head-to-head matchups against the Clippers and Lakers since they acquired Kawhi, I just see that they have their number. I think they're going to come out the West. So I wouldn't think it would make a big difference.
How they have their number? It was 2-2 last year.
But they had 3 wins against the Lakers. They won this year too. They won this year too.
Yeah, they won the first 2 last year and lost the last 2 last year.
And they won this year against the Lakers.
Okay.
Game. You know what I'm saying?
First game of the season. That means they got the Lakers number.
It'll be interesting.
The Clippers are good. They got a shot. Don't get me wrong. But
no,
I'm just saying,
definitely. Yeah, they're not out of it. BJ, thanks, man. Continue with your podcast. He has a basketball podcast. Nick in South Carolina, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Nick?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Nick,
we already know Nick is with Chris because every time he calls.
Nick is just a greatly wise.
Go ahead. I don't even know why I take the call. I'm at some point.
Rob, you can read the future now. No,
I already know.
Course,
I mean, you're so predictable. Go ahead. Let me. I'll take
well,
my headphones
I'll
off
throw
for this.
something unpredictable at you. I'll say, but yeah, I am with Chris. But, barring a major setback from these injuries, I think the Lakers will be fine, even if they do play. And LeBron and AD have their chemistry from a year ago when they developed it. LeBron has played most of the season with this team, so he's adjusted to them as well. My question to Rob is, though, the Nets, who have no superstars, who have no proven track record of adjusting in the playoffs like LeBron, how do you keep favoring them to win a championship when they don't have much chemistry under their belt and a lot of their players are injured? But the Lakers, all of a sudden, it's over.
The difference is they're 15-2 without Kevin Durant. With Kyrie in and out, with nights when they're not playing. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm looking at their supporting cast, what they have. Blake Griffin is now 4th option.
He had a dunk last night.
I saw that.
I don't even think he's the 4th option, Rob. I think
5th option.
They got
what I mean.
options, and then if everybody else just fills in.
So I'm saying, if I look at that, Chris, without Durant playing at all or being involved, and you add him to the mix with 2 Finals MVPs, what he's able to do with Kyrie, who's made big shots, playing some of his best basketball. They don't have to be world stoppers to win. All they need to do is be a middle-of-the-road defensive team. And as Antonio Daniels said, and I agree with him, it's an arms race, and they have so much firepower.
Well, and I think also, Rob, maybe it's the era now of the super teams or just guys moving around. It seems like more than ever. We can look at a lot of teams and see that they're not going to have a ton of time together. The Clippers are fairly intact, But, this Brooklyn team, they certainly don't seem to be worried about chemistry. Philadelphia, Embiid will be coming back for them. He will have missed some significant time. Milwaukee just added a PJ Tucker. Teams add players. So that's why, again, I think this Lakers team was together last year for the most part. I think they'll be fine chemistry-wise.